Well, hello everyone. This is Mitchell Mander here, and welcome to another impressions video on the Boruto anime. Today we're going to be talking about episode 130, which this episode was okay. I didn't like it as much as last week's episode, but it does lead into interesting events that are going to happen in the next week's episode. But one thing I will say that I like in this episode, or at least that's what's they've been doing with this Back to the Past arc, is using a lot of the old OSTs from the original Naruto series. For example, I think Afternoon in Konoha was played, Naruto's Daily Life. I kind of went crazy when Konohamaru's theme showed up when Konohamaru showed up, and Go Go Naruto just as a few examples. So, yeah, I really like the old OSTs, so it was nice to see them here. I was a little disappointed that Rock Lee's theme wasn't in the episode, and I think it should have been, but I'll take what we got so far. So far so good when it comes to the OSTs being used. Now, for this episode, I did like the little scene at the beginning with Boruto making the ramen super spicy because he was getting sick of eating ramen all the time and having it for breakfast after having it for dinner the previous night. And yet, despite Naruto being nervous about it, he ended up actually kind of liking it a little bit. But anyways, we move on to the next scene where Naruto is giving Boruto a little tour of the old town, and he's just walking around, talking about how different it looked back then. And that's when they run into young Konohamaru, who decides to use his sexy jutsu on Naruto to do their little competition, which Naruto does his sexy jutsu, which I find interesting that Naruto's sexy jutsu is clothed, because I don't recall ever being clothed before. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if they're doing this to be more kid-friendly or not, but yeah, it was just a little weird. But I like how Naruto does this only get punched by Sakura, and then Konohamaru runs away, scared. Then we run into some of the old characters when they were younger, like Rock Lee, Neji, and Hinata, and honestly, their interactions here were kind of limited. I kind of wish that Boruto would have interacted with Neji a little bit more in this episode, because he's seeing his deceased uncle for the first time, and you would think that he would actually kind of interact with him maybe a little bit more. So I'm a little bit disappointed on that front. So something I wanted to note here really quickly is that when Naruto was showing Boruto around the village, he accidentally runs into a ninja who knocks over his stuff, and as they're walking away, Boruto mentions the Thunder Train from his era, and that ninja actually kind of gets interested in what Boruto is talking about. And from what I can gather, this ninja actually may be Denki's father, just because the other ninja calls him by Denki's family name. So did we just create a paradox here? So Boruto may have actually inspired the Thunder Train, even though he's from the future. So yeah, we may have created a time paradox. Maybe we already changed something in the future. So I guess this arc is canon confirmed. Anyways, the Genin get their assignment, which is to clean the bathhouse, which is the same bathhouse from the previous episode which Jiraiya was peeping in and Naruto was with them. So Naruto doesn't want the others to find out that the reason this mission is actually happening in the first place is because he was with Jiraiya, and Jiraiya was doing this, and he was going to get blamed for it regardless. Now, this confirms that this arc takes place after the Sasuke retrieval arc, and before Naruto leaves the village to train with Jiraiya, which, I don't know how I feel about this. I feel like they were setting up something interesting with this potentially taking place before the Sasuke retrieval arc. We could have seen Boruto's reaction to Naruto coming back injured from his fight with Sasuke, and just the effect it had on the others. And I feel like this was kind of a missed opportunity, as a lot of us thought that this Getting Assemble mission was going to be about retrieving Sasuke. So I don't know how I feel about this, because what they're doing here is just cleaning a bathhouse, which is just really not much. That being said, Shikamaru shows up and gives them their instructions. But I did like the little moment where Hinata basically acknowledged that Boruto does look a lot like Naruto, which, why isn't anybody else pointing this out? Shikamaru is the smartest one of them all, and he's not even saying it, so why is Hinata the only one that's figured it out? And she's not shy about it either, so that was a little interesting moment. So hopefully they clear this up, maybe, if they actually figure it out. I don't know. I just find it strange that Hinata is the only one that realizes that Boruto looks like Naruto. Now the boys start cleaning on their side, and things kind of get out of hand. Naruto uses a Shadow Clone Jutsu, Kiba using his Beast Clone Jutsu with Akamaru, Rock Lee being Rock Lee, not wanting to lose. So they end up kind of just messing up the place, which was kind of funny. But anyways, I liked the moment when they were walking back, and Boruto is basically talking to the other Genin. And he's actually walking by Shino, who mentions that he has skills, but he has some inconsistencies with his skills, and he wonders if his teacher is helping him with that. Which I just find it ironic, just because, Shino is his teacher in the future. So, interesting little moment there. But I do like the moment where they were talking about Sasuke, and you just see Naruto and Sakura just bowing their head down, because Kiba just blurts it out, and it obviously hurts those two. And Boruto goes up and confronts Sasuke about this, and he's pretty much silent on it, and he doesn't want to reveal any more information on it. And I kind of feel like that was a wasted moment too, because I feel like at this point Sasuke should be, have enough life experience to be able to basically tell Boruto about what happened, or at this point he should maybe explain a little bit to him, but he doesn't really say anything, which I thought was a little disappointing. So maybe towards the end of this arc, maybe Sasuke will open up to Boruto a little bit more about his past. So anyways, this episode ends off with Sasuke meeting up with Boruto and Naruto, and I believe they're waiting for Jiraiya, and that's when Urashiki finally shows up and makes his appearance, and the episode ends right there. So overall, this episode was okay. I don't think it was a bad episode by any means. It did feel kind of like a traditional Naruto filler episode. Probably like a better filler episode, I guess, than most Naruto filler. But it wasn't as good as last week's episode, and probably won't be as good as next week's episode. I think next week's episode is going to be amazing. Well, hopefully amazing. But anyways, I'd say I'd give this episode a solid 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5. Depending on some of the nostalgia that was used. I kind of wish they would have used Rock Lee's theme, like I mentioned earlier. So hopefully they use some more interesting old OSTs once we get into battle with Urashiki. That'd be cool. I'd like to hear heavy violence. That would be awesome. So yeah. Anyways, this video is done, and yeah, let me know what you thought of this episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Were there things you wanted to see on this episode? Post your thoughts in the comment section down below, and be sure to like and subscribe. And I will talk to you all later.